Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Dan, or Audie, or Culture Dan, whatever you want to call me. Today I'm bringing another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Supergirl. So before I get into it, I do want to mention the background is a work in progress, and I would like your advice. Should I add more things? Should I take things off? Or should I just take things entirely because it's a little cringe? I thought about doing like a little backdrop, but I don't know. I feel like it looks cool, but it also looks kind of empty. So yeah, any advice, I'll take it. But yeah, let's get into the review of Supergirl. So yeah, Supergirl. Just to start, I did like the movie, but I can see where there's some issues. The way I like to explain it is that it's the best meh movie I've ever seen, which is kind of a funny way to describe a movie, but it just feels like a movie that should have been a lot more than what it was, but like it was good where it was left at. And I feel like at this point, you know, being the second movie in the DCEU, it needed to not be good and it needed to be great. Now, that doesn't subvert my feelings. I still enjoyed the movie, but I could see why there's people online and there's reviews hating the movie. So for starters, I want to mention Millie Alcock was probably the best part of this movie, besides Krypto, but it's Krypto. But Millie Alcock really showed her versatility in this movie. She was like the perfect Valley girl. She was the perfect Supergirl. We even got some, you know, her speaking Kryptonese, whichever one it is, Krypton language. We got some of that, which she brought in from Game of Thrones, you know, speaking the dragon language. Can't remember what it's called now, but we saw a lot of Millie Alcock here and it was great. She's fantastic. I think she's the perfect Supergirl, to be honest with you. There's people online that will not agree with me, and to be honest with you, I don't care because that's my opinion, and whatever misogynistic opinion you have, keep it to yourself. I know how superhero fans could be, so I'm like going to start with that. She was great. She was fantastic. If you don't like that, you could leave now. But yeah. In terms of acting, I think that was the only perfect role. We're going to go through most of the supporting cast. The girl who played Ruthie, apologies, I don't remember the actress's name, but she was good. I just think that there was way too much of her. And I think that what was supposed to be her small part was expanded into a much larger part than what it should have been. And I think that the character and the movie suffered because of that. The reason why I think that is because, and I hate to do this, but I'm going to do it because that's what James Gunn wants us to do in his universe. But when you pull from source material, I think you either have to loosely pull or you have to fully pull. And these are one of the things that he fully pulled from, because the original story, Woman of Tomorrow, is told from the perspective of Ruthie. But the problem is that it's supposed to showcase Supergirl from her eyes. That's very hard to do in a movie, and I don't think it was translated well here. I think that Ruthie sucked up way too much time, and there was times where she literally looked like the main character. And while the story is driven by her, the story is not about her. The story is supposed to complement her. It's supposed to be about Supergirl. Or at least that's my take on it. But other than that, in acting, the girl who played Ruthie was great. I thought she was, you know, in the parts she needed to be, she was emotional. In the parts she needed to bring out the action, she had action. She was good overall. My biggest criticism is the fact that she takes up too much screen time, which, to be honest with you, could be a good criticism to have, you know, for an up-and-coming actor going forward. I just think that it kind of hurt the movie in a way, because we're supposed to see the next character. It's kind of like Iron Man. If they had Iron Man 1, Peter Parker was in it before Peter Parker's Spider-Man. And not saying Ruthie becomes anyone, but, you know, Peter Parker's Spider-Man before he's Spider-Man, and Peter Parker takes every scene. And it's just like, okay. It kind of hurts the DCU in the future. So that's my first criticism. In terms of acting, the next criticism is the guy who played Krem. Now, I just genuinely do not think Krem was intimidating whatsoever, and he's supposed to be the big villain of the movie. Now, the problem there is, if you're not going to make him, you know, big bad. Like, I'm not trying to say he's supposed to be like Thanos or Galactus, but you want to make him at least like intimidating, and he just wasn't. He was kind of just eating the whole time. He was kind of boring, to be honest. It was just like, okay, like Krem's here, I want more Supergirl. Which, again, going back to the source material, it's kind of the same thing. Like, we don't see a lot of Krem in the source material. It's mostly just Supergirl and Ruthie, and it just felt weird to have more scenes of Krem, because it's like he's such a baseless character. He's just like some dude who did some messed up thing to this girl, and now Supergirl needs to help her. It kind of translates like that in the movie too. So every time he's on the screen, it's just like, all right, like, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna kill someone else? Like, all right, you know, Supergirl be killing people too. Like, I don't understand. It was just weird. And to kind of like, you know, direct from that, if you're not going to have him be a big bad, have him be much smaller and take away screen time from him and give those moments to Supergirl where she's like, you know, beating him to a pulp and he teleports away or something, or Lobo interferes and he gets away. Like, make him more of a sneak like he is in the original, which I hate to do, but that's what James Gunn wants us to do. Again, when you're going to pull from source material, people are going to reference the source material. And that's just how it is here. Like, we should have had moments where he was running away and stuff like that. And then my next criticism in terms of acting is probably another one that's really weird to criticize. It's just like, I kind of sat there and was like, man, this would be great, which was Lobo. I think Jason Momoa as Lobo, it almost feels like he was meant to play that role. Like, it's perfect for him. Like, some badass dude who smokes cigars and he kills people and he's immortal and he's kind of like, you know, messing around. And to be honest with you, James Gunn, if you watch this, which I highly doubt because I'm just some random dude, but please, in the future, when you bring in Aquaman, have a moment with him and Lobo. That would be really funny to do. I thought Jason Momoa was great as Lobo. I really want to see more of him. Apparently he's getting his own movie or his own show or whatever. And I'm looking forward to that because I, you know, like Jason Momoa in roles like this. Now, with that being said, I still do not understand why he was in this movie. I'm sorry. Like, to me, it was just, he was shoehorned in to just add another character to the DCU. And it just, he felt super misplaced. Like, even in the scenes that he was in, which he was great, I want to clarify, he was great. It was just like, why? You know, like, it just didn't, he was definitely shoehorned in, and I see why, like, you know, they need to add more characters. If they're going to have a full woman movie in today's society, they need to have the man, whatever the reason is, I don't really care. I just want the movie to make sense, and Lobo being there, as hard as they tried, it just didn't make sense for him to be there. But I want to clarify that that's not a criticism to Jason Momoa or Lobo at all. I just think that that's a criticism to the script and how the movie flowed. Especially in like the middle portion of the movie, like the part where they like steal his bike or whatever. It was just like, what are you doing here? Like, in the big picture, painted picture of things, why are you painted in this picture? It just felt really weird. This is supposed to be a movie about women and women empowerment, and you have this undead dude who is forcing himself in and helping these people. It just kind of like minimizes the characters and minimizes the stakes and the emotions. Oh, there goes my phone. And yeah, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. In terms of this movie, again, I want more Lobo, just not in this movie. In terms of action, I do think that the action in this movie is completely passable. I don't think it was amazing. I still prefer the action in Superman. But I really liked what they did here. Millie Alcock, you know, really stepped in, and even Ruthie's actress stepped in and like did what they had to do in terms of action. And similar to what I just said about Lobo, I feel like he should have had more action. He was kind of just swinging his things around and getting on his bike and leaving. I wanted more. Supergirl gave us like a good amount, especially that scene in like the bus. That was great. That was done so well. I could have done a little bit less with the scene in the planet with all the dudes. Slight spoiler, but yeah. The action overall was great. Yeah. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I have notes, but Ah, yes, the famous James Gunn needle drop. I get that it's a thing that he does in each of his movies. He wants to have like an action scene that like kind of goes into slow-mo with a song playing. It's great. I just think it was too long. It should have been much shorter. The hits should have been more impactful. If you've seen Master of the Universe, that slow-mo scene was done so epically. Like you feel every hit. It just felt very like they shot it in normal speed and then kind of just slow-moed it and put a song over it. And it didn't feel very like impactful. Like my thing with slow-mo is that if you're gonna make a slow motion, you need to have it be impactful. Like if you're slow-moing a punch, make us feel that punch, you know, add some spit. Like to reference it again, Master of the Universe, like we see like Skeletor's head like bounce off the wall or the floor. I needed more of that. It was just felt very like shoehorned in. Like James Gunn was like, yeah, we need to have that, Gillespie. Like add your slow-mo scene because that's my thing. And yeah, I don't know. Just wasn't for me. It would have been cool if it was just a little shorter. Another thing, the song choice. I think the song choice was good. It made sense in the context of the movie. I just don't get why they chose that remix. It felt like a very indie girl remix, like singing like that. And it felt misplaced. Like I get James Gunn likes the rock. He likes the classic rock and roll and stuff. This wasn't that. This was like indie girl, like, which now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it fits because, you know, the blonde girl and she's wearing a Blondie shirt, but how about we do Call Me? You know, how about we do some other like rock song? How about we do a whole song? Like why did we choose Jimmy Eats World's rendition? Well, not their rendition, but an indie rendition of a Jimmy Eats World song. It just felt really, really weird. But it was good nonetheless. I feel like I'm saying it was good. Like that's my thing with this movie. Like it was good. I just feel like, let me not spoil. Let me get to the end of this. One of my biggest things about this movie is that it felt less like a Supergirl movie and more of like I said earlier, like a Ruthie movie, but it also feels like it was just exposition for Superman. Like it's kind of like the Book of Boba Fett to Mandalorian, if you're as nerdy as me, where like at one point the Book of Boba Fett becomes a Mandalorian movie. It felt like that too. The original context does not have that much Superman. They do reference Clark, but he's not, in the movie. And I feel like there was parts where he was in the movie, and even in the parts in Krypton and stuff, it was giving us like lore on what weakens Superman and like what makes Superman, vulnerable. And I feel like things like that are like affecting like his good heart and, kryptonite, and we all know what affects Superman. So I just feel like it was weird that they were telling us that again. And I get that they're doing it in the context of Supergirl and like what happened to her planet and stuff. But again, it's also Superman's planet. So when you spend too much time and then you add scenes with Superman, it just feels like you're setting up the next Superman movie. Like, it just feels weird. Like, without even finishing the movie, I know that the next movie is going to be Superman and probably Supergirl as his sidekick or as his partner in crime, working and on fighting whoever they do fight. And it just felt like a setup movie rather than its own individual work, which again, I feel like they're doing because the DCU just started. But, that's like if they make a Clayface movie, which they are. And if James Gunn, if you do this, I'm going to be very upset. But if they do a Clayface movie setting up the next Batman, or not even the next Batman because Brave and the Bold is coming out, but like if they set up like Robert Pattinson's The Batman Part 3, and it's just like, why would you do that? Like if it's going to be a Supergirl movie and if you're going to reference Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow, it should be a Supergirl movie. It should not be, Supergirl taking the sideline, helping this girl, and then giving exposition for Superman. It just feels weird. That's how I see it, at least. That's another criticism of the movie. One of the biggest emotional beats in this movie that I like is Supergirl and what she has to offer people. Because we all know that Clark, or the Kryptonians, live off, being great to one another. Or at least that's what Kara and Clark were told to, help people with the powers that you're given. And we see Supergirl in this movie like fight with that. So it felt very nice to see moments where Even though she's fighting against it in her head, which is not something Superman would do so outwardly, like being, a teenager about things. It's very nice to see her do things, especially when it comes to like, not to reference too much in the movie, but like the girls, that's all I'm going to say, the girls in the movie, to see how like that emotionally impacts her and how, she fights towards that. And again, I feel like people that watch this, especially in our current society, are going to see this and be like, oh, it's a girls movie. But like, that's what it is. And if they're going to do that, they're going to go all the way. And I feel like they did. And Supergirl is very empathetic. Slight spoiler, just a quote in the movie. If you don't want to know, in about a few seconds, when I count down, I'm going to say a quote in the movie. And it's just a quote that resonated with me, and I loved it, and I wrote it down the minute I saw it. So yeah, I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. In the movie, when they're in the scene where they have the green sun out and, the kryptonite sun, and Supergirl is weakened, Ruthie helps her into this cave, and she's talking to her, and she tells her, you're not always nice, but you're kind. And you're not always perfect, but you're good. And I think that is such a beautiful, resonating quote. I had to write it down because I do think that there's a difference with nice and kind. And Supergirl is not nice at all, but she is very kind. She has a kind soul. She lives by what her family told her, even though she's reluctant about it. And I just love it. A little quote like that gave us a lot of character, and I really like that they did that. So yeah, sorry if you didn't want that spoiler. I, try my best to not be spoiler, but I just have to always talk about something that like I love from the movie, even if it's a slight spoiler. So yeah, bear with me. But yeah, other than that, I just feel like the movie was genuinely just fine. Like it was great. It was good, but I just feel like it needed to be great. In a time where we have a lot of great movies, people are going to criticize heavily. I don't think this movie deserves the criticism it's getting, but here we are, and people have their opinions, and I really hope that you form your own and you don't come into this comment section or whoever sees this or anywhere and you're just spewing stuff that is not cool, because art is subjective and people have their own opinions, and I like this movie for one. If you didn't, that's okay, but it's definitely one I'm going to rewatch. I'm probably going to rewatch it next week or probably even tomorrow. And yeah, I just hope that the DCU continues to grow and it doesn't stop there. So yeah, if you like this, please leave a thumbs up. And again, if I should do anything with my background, let me know if I should add or take off. It's just something I'm experimenting with, and I think it looks cool. But yeah, if you don't want to hear me yap for probably 20 minutes, I will have a written version of this up in my Substack /website. So I would greatly appreciate it if you go give that a look. And follow my socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. It'll all be linked down below. And yeah, see you all in the next one. And I hope you like the movie if you watch it.